Welcome to Market Monday. The Montgomery County real estate market showed varied performance across neighborhoods and price points during the week affected by spring break, Easter, and Passover. Today's analysis breaks down current conditions by location and property type, noting that activity figures likely reflect temporarily muted holiday effects. Friday's Market Pulse Insights. Data from April 9th through April 16th shows rising competition despite seasonal slowdowns. Multiple offers appeared in 67% of transactions, with buyers submitting an average of 1.8 offers per listing. Nearly 75% of properties sold above asking price, and many buyers conceded on inspection terms to strengthen their position. Bethesda, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price, $2,242,000. Median price of new listings, $1,379,000. Price per square foot, $466. Average days on market, 74. Median days on market, 35. Price decreased 31%. Price increased 2%. Relisted 7%. Inventory 108 homes. Median rent $4,713. MAI 39, slight seller's advantage. Market analysis. List prices slid 6.5% this week, and MAI ticked down to 39, confirming a cooling trend. Inventory is up 11% in 7 days, giving buyers more leverage. Average days on market fell, but median days on market rose, evidence of a two-speed market in which well-priced homes move quickly, while overpriced properties linger. Expect continued price pressure unless MAI reverses. Bethesda, Maryland, condos and townhomes. Median list price, $447,000. Median price of new listings, $1,259,950. Price per square foot, $429. Average days on market, 53. Median days on market, 28. Price decreased 42%. Price increased 0%. Relisted 11%. Inventory 38 units. Median rent $2,980. MAI 47, strong sellers market. Market analysis. MAI slipped from 49 to 47 but remains robust. Nearly half of sellers have trimmed prices, yet days on market improved, suggesting tactical rather than distressed reductions. A single luxury listing at $1,259,950 skewed the median for new listings sharply higher. Core inventory remains in the $300,000 to $650,000 band. Chevy Chase, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price, $2,300,000. Median price of new listings, $2,295,000. Price per square foot, $527. Average days on market, 100. Median days on market, 35. Price decreased, 48%. Price increased, 3%. Relisted, 12%. Inventory, 33 homes. Median rent, $5,873. MAI, 35, slight seller's advantage. Market analysis, inventory tightened slightly and MAI ticked up, hinting at stabilizing demand. Pricing continues to soften with a 7.8% week-over-week decline. High days on market and a shrinking price per square foot point to buyer push back at the top end. Watch for price capitulation on listings in the top quartile. Chevy Chase, Maryland, condos and townhomes. Median list price, $442,000. Median price of new listings, $378,450. Price per square foot, $424. Average days on market, 68. Median days on market, 35. Price decreased 39%. Price increased 0%. Relisted 5%. Inventory 62 units. Median rent $2,606. MAI 33, slight seller's advantage. Market analysis, MAI edged higher despite rising inventory, indicating demand is holding. Median list price fell 9.6% in 1 week, undoing much of last month's gains. Expect continued volatility until excess supply is absorbed. Gaithersburg, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price, $937,400. Median price of new listings, $950,000. Price per square foot, $285. Average days on market, 66. Median days on market, 25. Price decreased 39%. Price increased 2%. Relisted 6%. Inventory 64 homes. Median rent $3,100. MAI 47 strong sellers market. Market analysis, a jump in inventory and discounts pushed MAI lower, but the market still favors sellers. The rise in list prices is composition-driven with more upper-tier homes. A decline in price per square foot confirms broader value softness. If MAI dips below 45, prices are likely to follow. Gaithersburg, Maryland, condos and townhomes. Median list price, $430,000. Median price of new listings, $502,500. Price per square foot, $274. Average days on market, 44. Median days on market, 21. Price decreased, 26%. Price increased, 2%. Relisted, 6%. Inventory, 65 units. Median rent, $2,210. MAI, 59 strong sellers market. Market analysis. Despite a slight MAI slide, this remains the county's hottest condo submarket. Faster days on market and fewer price cuts signal firm demand, especially for listings above $500,000. Germantown, Maryland. Single-family homes. Median list price, $825,000. Median price of new listings, $657,250. Price per square foot, $246. Average days on market, 52. Median days on market, 21. Price decreased, 24%. Price increased, 5%. Relisted, 0%. Inventory, 21 homes. Median rent, $2,450. MAI, 56 strong sellers market. Market analysis. Supply tightened again, and MAI surged to 56, the strongest reading in our coverage. Lower entry-level inventory under $650,000 is fueling bidding wars. Luxury listings above $1,500,000 remain sparse. Germantown, Maryland. Condos and townhomes. Median list price, $369,950. Median price of new listings, $332,500. Price per square foot, $265. Average days on market, 30. Median days on market, 11. Price decreased, 29%. Price increased, 2%. Relisted, 0%. Inventory, 58 units. Median rent, $2,023. MAI, 71 strong sellers market. Market analysis. This market hit a cycle high MAI of 71. Even with a 45% inventory spike, days on market keep shrinking. Demand far outstrips supply. Expect upward pressure on prices, especially below $425,000. Kensington, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price, $893,250. Median price of new listings, $769,000. Price per square foot, $346. Average days on market, 51. Median days on market, 25. Price decreased, 36%. Price increased, 0%. Relisted, 14%. Inventory, 22 homes. Median rent, $3,750. MAI, 55 strong sellers market. Market analysis. Price metrics softened, but MAI jumped 5 points on brisk absorption of mid-tier homes between $650,000 and $950,000. Expect polarization: competitive below $1 million, sluggish above $1,500,000. Poolsville, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price $1,079,000. Median price of new listings $695,000. Price per square foot $383. Average days on market 118. Median days on market 7. Price decreased 0%. Price increased 0%. Relisted 0%. Inventory 7 homes. Median rent $3,500. MAI 43 slight seller's advantage. Market analysis. Micro market volatility is pronounced with only 7 active listings. A new sub-$700,000 entry reset the median for new listings. Watch MAI closely as any drop below 40 could shift leverage to buyers. Potomac, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price $2,495,000. Median price of new listings $2,100,000. Price per square foot $372. Average days on market 84. Median days on market 28. Price decreased 31%. Price increased 2%. Relisted 2%. Inventory 49 homes. Median rent $6,000. MAI 44 slight seller's advantage. Market analysis. Potomac remains range-bound with MAI and price per square foot flat, but more price reductions signal seller fatigue in the $2,500,000 to $4 million range. The dip in days on market hints that recent cuts are working. Rockville, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price $862,500. Median price of new listings $754,250. Price per square foot $360. Average days on market 34. Median days on market 14. Price decreased 34%. Price increased 0%. Relisted 6%. Inventory 64 homes. Median rent $3,200. MAI 62 strong sellers market. Market analysis. Even with a 7% price pullback, Rockville posts the county's second highest MAI. Entry-level inventory between $575,000 and $700,000 clears in under a week. Softness is confined to the $1,300,000 plus tier. Rockville, Maryland, condos and townhomes. Median list price $449,000. Median price of new listings $502,450. Price per square foot $357. Average days on market 63. Median days on market 35. Price decreased 38%. Price increased 4%. Relisted 6%. Inventory 113 units. Median rent $2,500. MAI 43 slight seller's advantage. Market analysis. A modest MAI uptick masks growing price resistance with 38% of listings reduced. The new listing median broke $500,000 as sellers test higher price points. Absorption will dictate staying power. Silver Spring, Maryland, single-family homes. Median list price $698,000. Median price of new listings $682,450. Price per square foot $329. Average days on market 49. Median days on market 14. Price decreased 37%. Price increased 4%. Relisted 7%. Inventory 107 homes. Median rent $3,150. MAI 58 strong sellers market. Market analysis. Despite inventory swelling 14%, MAI held at 58. Fewer price drops and rising price per square foot point to resilient demand, especially for renovated homes under $750,000. Silver Spring, Maryland, condos and townhomes. Median list price $268,250. Median price of new listings $299,900. Price per square foot $245. Average days on market 67. Median days on market 35. Price decreased 38%. Price increased 1%. Relisted 7%. Inventory 154 units. Median rent $1,975. MMAI 41, slight seller's advantage. Market analysis. MAI slid below 43 for the first time in 6 months as inventory hit a 2-year high. Nearly 40% of sellers cut prices, giving buyers room to negotiate, especially in the $250,000 to $325,000 bracket. Key takeaways. What this means for buyers. Montgomery County's market remains predominantly seller favorable, but with significant variation by area and price point. Tactical opportunities exist in Bethesda and Chevy Chase single-family homes, where nearly half of sellers have reduced prices. Entry level is ultra-competitive, with Germantown condos and townhomes showing an extraordinary MAI of 71. Act decisively on properties under $750,000 in high-demand areas like Rockville and Silver Spring. Price tier matters more than neighborhood. Homes above $1,500,000 face resistance everywhere, while entry-level properties move quickly regardless of location. Be prepared with strong offers, since 73% of properties sell above list price. What this means for sellers. For sellers, market position depends heavily on property type, price point, and location. Price strategically from the start, since 30% to 40% of listings see price reductions. Accurate initial pricing is crucial. Presentation is paramount. As inventory rises, properties must stand out. Expect faster sales below $750,000, where median days on market are under 21 days. Luxury listings require patience, as the $1,500,000 plus market faces extended marketing periods. Consider market timing now that spring break, Easter, and Passover are behind us. Looking forward. With Easter and Montgomery County Public Schools spring break ending today, April 21st, expect accelerated engagement this week as post-holiday momentum builds. Buyer activity will rise, and interest rate sensitivity will keep buyers reactive to rate changes. Inventory absorption remains key. Watch MAI in your area to gauge if supply outpaces demand. Price tier polarization will likely widen between entry-level and luxury markets. Ready to take action. For buyers, get early access to listings through Zenlist. Zenlist.com/a/Corey.Feldman. For sellers, request a data-driven property valuation. bit.ly/DC Metro CMA. Questions about how these trends affect your situation? Let's talk.